see. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Show any fear. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul.
Close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. my downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love, you say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. Eyes in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you?
my way back to you, until you make amends with the demons you've been through. And I can't regret leaving you alone, until you find your way back home. Find your way back home. Don't let me drown. Don't let me drown. Don't let me drown. Until you find your way back home. I can't regret leaving you alone, until you find your way back home.
Give me reasons to doubt, try to keep me down, but I'll put the flame out, you can't get to me. Throw your sticks and your stones, go break all of my bones, you won't ache my soul, you can't get to me. And there is no barricade that I can tear away. Shoot me down, but fire away, away. But I'm a heavyweight, I'm a heavyweight, I'm a heavyweight, I'm a heavyweight.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first ever NUEL community tournament for PUBG. My name is Peter Canafit Hartnell, joined by Novi. Novi, how are you feeling going into this very first NUEL PUBG event?
I'm feeling fantastic, especially with some of the names of the teams we've got. Some spectacular competitive names going in. Some that we can't even read out, which is that good. But hopefully we should see some good PUBG. There's some very good players in it. Warwick's got a very good roster. Repping my boys from Salford. We've got some good teams in there as well. I think Lancaster competing as well. I think they've got
they are the Lancaster Bombers, so I'd assume so.
They're buried team number 3.
Yes. So that's a good time as any to bring up. We've got 25 teams playing today to fill out the full 100 players to go across our good old regular map of PUBG. It's playing it old school today on Orangle, whose name I'm still going to try and figure out the pronunciation of. I do apologize if I get those all wrong during the course of today. Hopefully Novi will help correct me before I enrage too many people in the chat.
Yeah, I think you're going to pronounce it better than me anyway. So let's not worry too much about that. Going into it, it's the tournament will be run across 5 games. So teams will receive points on their position they finish in, as well as the amount of kills they get. So just sitting in the middle of the safe zone, and just camping might not get you enough points by the end of it. So it encourages a bit of competitiveness, taking firefights and decision making. So it should be really exciting to see. Similar rules to how ESL is run as well. So it should be fantastic.
Yes, to go into a little bit more about how the points work in this one, the teams will get 10 points for each kill that they manage to get, but you get a lot of points for finishing, particularly in the top 4 teams. So, for example, the number 1 team gets 400 points, but it does start to drop off quite rapidly, going 300 for number 2, and then less and less. I think once you drop out of the top, let's say 8 teams, you're looking at a lot less points.
So teams will want to have consistent finishes, of course, at the higher end, as well as taking those fights to, if they are going to have a low finish and you're going to get knocked out quite early, team which doesn't kill anyone is going to get barely any points. So super excited to see how we play. I have no idea how teams are going to play, whether they're going to play it super safe and just play for the end zone, or they're going to try and just bully everyone as much as possible. I know a player I know who's very good at the game. I was complaining once playing with him, saying I don't have any health kits, and he turned around to me and just went, kill someone and then pick up their health kit. So we've got some very exciting, aggressive players. So hopefully we'll see a lot of firefights and action. But also depends, of course, on the dreaded blue zone as well, which is going to be a major factor going into this tournament.
Oh, for sure. And I can see already that some of you guys are showing your love for the teams in the chat. Warwick, of course, mobilizing. It looks like the biggest wolf pack. But please show some love for your respective universities. Give them all of the energy they might require to get those tasty early pickups. We will be, I believe, we were initially at least planning to start around 7, but we have had a couple of delays. So please do bear with us, guys, while we try and get everything sorted out. Once we've got that first game underway, then we should be pretty much good to go. I believe most of the teams are in place, but not everybody as of yet. So we can't quite get going either way around it.
It's organizing 100 students, so yeah, go figure how that's gonna turn out. Anyway, though, one of the exciting things is there is a little bit of a prize, a little bit of an incentive counterfeit if you want to unveil the winnings that the first place and second place team will get.
Yes, well, there's some small. I mean, this is the first time out for PUBG for the NUEL, so there are some small incentives for the teams. There will be £50 rather worth of Steam vouchers for the winning team, and £25 worth for the second place. It's going to be pretty brutal, I suspect, given that we've got 10 people's worth of prizes and 100 people's worth of people. We'll see how it goes. I mean, No, you talked about consistency before. It feels like over the course of 5 games, I think we'll definitely start to see the most consistent teams really start to rack up those points. And if you can be in the top 8 teams consistently, you're going to have a huge advantage over teams that take the high risk strategies and do really well in one game and get instantly murdered in the second one.
Definitely. One of the most interesting things I think we'll see is the RNG nature of PUBG with the blue zone and the plane path. I think the good teams will be able to make something happen even with a bad plane path or getting quite unlucky with a blue zone. The worst teams, they might have a very high placing one game, but then they'll be the opposite end of the blue zone and have to sprint for about 30 minutes to play a running simulator until they can actually get in and actually have some action, and they might get picked off. So, because of that, I think my prediction is the teams which are more accustomed to playing from behind and knowing the terrain especially will be able to make up that gap of the RNG nature of the game and be able to have those consistent finishes. So I wouldn't be surprised if we had kind of an outside team winning at the first game and then dropping off right afterwards, because it is quite possible to have a really good spawn, really good loot on your first drop, as well as very fortunate timing with the blue zone. But we'll have to see.
All right, guys, we have received word that we should be getting it started relatively soon. Yes, I will pay $100 for 100 people's worth of people. Just putting that out into the chat for any of you guys who might have any spare dollars or people going. But let's get things underway. Of course, we've still got to wait for everybody to get into place for this first game. But again, just say we are just getting into game 1 now, so you've arrived at stream at the perfect time.
And very fortunate timing as we're about to jump in. We wanted to highlight some of the fantastic names of some of the teams, some of the other ones to look out for. We got a team called 20 frames per second. I know the feeling, especially with so many updates. PUBG is notorious for, saying, oh, look, we've updated and fixed all these issues. And then the next day they have an update 10 times the size to fix what they just did because it broke everything.
Yes.
And your FPS drops. What other ones stand out to you, Counterfeit, on there? I'm looking through the list of names. Wait, this isn't Fortnite. I was waiting for the Fortnite memes.
Oh, yes, we'll definitely try and fit in some Fortnite jokes during the course of this.
Yeah, definitely.
I think, well, Nova, you were saying you appreciated the hustle of the Warwick side, fitting their Twitch channel,
yes,
which is twitch.tv/Warwick Esports, into their team name. I appreciate, a team who can find a way to try and do the old self-promotion during the game as well.
You got to respect that hustle. Like that didn't even occur to me. I mean, I think that's just genius. That is. I wanted to message my teams from my university to put our Twitch channel in as well. That's got to give 1 point to. I don't know if I can. I don't think I can do that, but 1 point to Warwick. At least in my books, they're 1 point ahead of everyone at the moment.
Oh gosh, well there you go. High stakes competition already. We have established ourselves the first advantage as we get out on to the first game properly. We'll see. We're gonna have a pretty much midway starting out.
Yeah, sort of cutting down from the northeast to the northwest, leaving a lot of the northeast side of the map around Stulba and Kameshki out of the way, going right over Chinky, which should be very exciting. A lot of teams dropping right there. Let's see where else that they can go further down that map. Clear that flight path, create a new one on this map so I can have a look.
Yes, we can see the beautiful thing that is the calm before this first storm. It looks, well, it's a little hard to tell from this distance, but I think we are going to start to see some of these guys dropping down near each other, and hopefully we'll get some early action. Yes, okay. We've got some real big clumping coming through, particularly on the eastern part of the map.
And I called it before. I said that if it does pass over Pachinki, I highly doubt that we'll see the usual, the pug style of PUBG, where everyone just goes for these high value regions. We've seen people actually go around the edges to take advantage of that. So like Team 23, Team 9, all grouping up round Pachinki, and we've just got one lonely player from Team 3, the Lancaster Bombers, actually in Pachinki. Everyone else is around that flight path and choosing not to drop directly down, maybe because they predicted other people would try and do that as well. But it kind of means that the Lancaster Bombers have free reign over Pachinki. And we'll see where the blue zone goes. We should just have it appearing now, so we should be able to see where it is.
There we go.
And that's fairly good for the majority of teams. One team has done. Which team is that? Is that Team 1 at the top, having a very long drop, all the way up to the north side of the map?
Yeah, that's the Warwick squad, I believe.
Yeah, twitch.tv/Warwick Esports. By the way,
every time.
Going for the long drop, the long Kong, and it is paid off with the zone. Actually, that's as a kind of a gamble. They could have got screwed over quite easily. Blue zone itself.
Yeah, it looks like everything is getting started. So we'll spend a bit of time with the Lancaster Bombers and see how much sweet loot they're able to pick up. As we already noted, Warwick have managed to make a very good start for themselves, all alone up in the top of the map and also within the circle. Going to be good, happy, fun times. Of course, all those guys across the east side going to have a good amount of loot, but also a huge amount of fighting for themselves. We'll see which team ends up coming out of the melee there, which I would assume is going to cost us a lot of players. We've already got 5 down, but still all 25 teams in play.
Yes, and that's very much so. Surprisingly, lack of killing at the start, but I think that's because teams are being very cautious, spreading out a lot. It'll be very interesting. The guys over at Milter, that's one of my the interesting things I want to keep an eye on with 1 vs 3 C9 Team 11 having to make their way all the way across just to get into the zone and having to walk through many a team to actually get there in time. So it'll be rather interesting to see if they can make it for Arliss, for the Lancaster Bombers looting up. Not the best loot possible, revolver and pump shotgun in hand.
Yes, especially not in this open ground. We'll see whether or not the Lancaster Bombers can find themselves some more confined areas to be able to use the short-range weaponry a little bit better. But as we can see on the map, they are relatively far away from any other competition. So at least they've got a chance to try and round out their repertoire a little bit more before the real fighting breaks out. Let's have a look and see if we can over at the Devil's Rejects Team 25 over on the far east of the map. Got a bunch of teams
grouped up by there, up, left, there. There we go. Found them eventually. Woo!
So, there we go. So you're right, Nobi. It's actually surprising that the teams are, I think it's because, there are the Steam gift cards on the line. The team's playing this one out pretty carefully. For the last couple of minutes, you've actually seen the teams avoiding each other for the most part. Whether or not that's a conscious decision on the team's part to, if they see the other team coming, they just decide to go the other way rather than risking an early engagement. We'll see. It's obviously, we've got the constricting battlefield will force these guys to fight sooner or later. But for the moment, it seems like it's going to be more later than sooner.
Definitely so. And as I was saying, with these teams on the eastern side of the map having to make their way over, a lot of them are moving north and then going around, probably because they assume a lot of the teams have dropped around the flight path, which is very much true. And it's very cool tactic to see. We saw one of the teams actually on the map find a boat and go quite far up the northeast side of the map. That's Team 10 up there with Kirkmania as the only name I can actually see on screen. But that team, with the nicely rendered buildings.
Yes, it's all illusions, but yeah, Novi, I like what you're saying there. It's very, very smart to play this out strategically. I think this is something we'll be looking for over the course of the 5 games this evening to see what the kind of global strategies come into play. I think Warwick is going to have a visit from a few of those teams actually trying to avoid conflict up in the north a little bit. But for the moment, it looks like Team 10, the UOB Potatoes, led by Kirkmania, are going to have free reign to loot on this particular part of the map.
Yeah, definitely so. We'll see where Kirkmania is going, where they're planning on enter. Should be near Yasnoya Poliana. Loot drop as well, dropping just between Pachinki and Farm, sort of halfway before. See which teams contest that. Team 21 is already there. And Team 3, which is the Lancaster Bombers. Lancaster Bombers very split up right now with Oak G and Amij. Someone correct me in Twitch chat if you're from Lancaster. I have no idea how to pronounce some of these names. On the other side near Pachinki, that's an M249 picked up for Galaxy 17. Not the best drop from one of these crates. Definitely not you're hoping for, but you'll take what you can get at this point. Damage output actually for the M249 is fairly low, but it does have a very high rate of fire. So if you want to do suppressive fire, but an M24, an Orm, any of those guns would be probably better off in this situation, especially as most people might not have picked up better armor or anything, so you can one-tap them anywhere on the body. Seeing also Team 23 going up north as well, saying hi to the Warwick boys or girls in that team. Up there, up in the north side. Seeing Blue Zone should have started moving in by now, by this point, I assume. Yeah, it is on its way in.
There we go.
So we should see some hustle, some movement from some of these teams as they try and get into the zone.
It looks like quite a lot of the teams have remained relatively close to the circle. Anyway, so I don't think we're going to run into too much issue. I can't, at least from when we last looked at the map, I didn't see anyone who was going to be cut off from getting to that safe ground early on. It looks like the loot has been relatively generous for the most part. We'll see. Certainly, if we can get some extra crates coming in, you can maybe start to see something a little bit more unusual.
Definitely so. It would be really nice to see some sniping battles. Maybe, I don't know if anyone has actually picked up a Car 98. Yeah, haven't seen anyone with that. Also, you got to pick up the scope as well. Looking through at the teams, trying to see some of the people I might recognize. Trying to look for the chicken giblets. Number 22. Just got to rep my own boys. See where they're at, but I see them. Maybe they suffered some casualties already. Kind of hard to see at this early point in the game with so much going on around the map. We're seeing a little bit of conflict. Team number 5, Elite Business Scholars, holding up. Mini 14 in hand. Interesting thing about the Mini 14 is, although it is a sniper rifle and it's semi-automatic, its damage output is the same as an AR. Also, a rate of fire is higher in AR, and the recoil is less on an AR. So most of the time, take an M16 over it. But if it's the only thing you pick up, it is good range on it. Bullet drop isn't too bad. Functions pretty well, but it does the same amount of damage. No extra armor penetration compared to, say, the AK or the M16. But Derv McRage with the red dot sight, peeking outside the door as well, trying to get some kind of information up. Looking at the map though,
it looks like Team 6, the Bath Boys, one of the teams who are a little bit late into that circle, have managed to find themselves a little bit of transport. It looks like pretty much everybody's going to be able to make it in. We have dropped a couple of teams already. I don't know if we're going to be able to know for certain who those are, except by process of elimination, but at least we can know. Oh, there we go. We've got the second circle coming in, and it looks like.
And
let's
have a look at 22, because we're seeing the original G, and I think I recognize that name actually. Fairly close to 22. They can definitely see them looking in that direction, looking as they pass. Whether they actually go in and try and contest is a very different matter. It looks like they're choosing to stay safe, staying back, playing time, but they will get a team coming up behind them as well. but they will get shot down. Vanquish actually knocked out Sombrero bloke. They're from the same university. Not going to be happy with that outcome. Definitely not going to be happy. But he will be knocked. Might be able to be picked up by his team. 22 holding strong inside this house. Sir Jib making his way over with Mr. Buttcheek as well. My Salford boys repping those good names.
Yes.
Nice to see.
Only
Coming
the
in,
top quality names.
top quality names mean top quality memes. For sure.
I'm
Moving
pretty sure
over
that's how
to
the
Team
math works.
Yeah, definitely. They've
Let's-
approached Team 19, who are in a vehicle. I assume they'll try and spray these guys down. 1 is down, 2 is down. Trying to go for 3, but he will get away. But he chose...
Ooh.
Oh, finishes him off. Very nice by the bread. That's Brad. I know that. His name confused me. I was trying to work out bread. And on in my society. Brad. There we go.
He's probably hungry too, to be fair.
Yeah, he's probably hungry for some bread, but definitely these teams are hungry for some chicken dinners. 3 teams knocked out already. Team 19 will have been eliminated, and that's the negative squared capital B team.
Sombrero gonna get taken out by Vanquish there as well. So 16 players down so far. We're starting to see, some of these teams actually getting individual members picked off, as we're starting to really seeing the teams actually going to get into that central circle for the most part a little bit early. I think Warwick are the team that are hanging back the most.
Yes. Something really interesting is so Team 8 and Team 13 are both Salford teams. So Team 8 took out Sombrero, who is part of Team 13, which is Sombrero's, I think Sombrero's squad, something like that. Those guys are not going to be happy. But if you saw how spaced out the 2 teams are in comparison to each other, 8 and 13, just inside the new circle, how on unless that was some long range shot, which I assume it wasn't, because of the weaponry involved, they must have really split up as a team. And this is, if you look at these teams which are more experienced, if they do split up, it's a long line of sight, so one can always trade off onto another player. Very similar to CS, how it works. Same way, like with Warwick, you see they've got 2 vehicles, so they can move into a pressure point in 2 different ways. So they're not going to get caught out. No one person. If the drive gets shot down, then it's going to take some quick key binding reactions to switch seat and drive off and leave that guy behind. So very interesting to see some of these teams, maybe a bit more inexperienced teams, splitting up, lack of communication, lack of cohesion. We see Vanquish and not a Katsubaki inside the stairs, picking up weapons, Scario in hand. Very nice pickup. Decently handles at range. That looks like a silencer on one of the guns. That is a silencer on the M416. And they'll be very happy with that. I'm sure what player. That's not Vanquish who's got it. It's a Pixel, I think. And also Nutty as well. So good weapons on these guys. These guys might actually be quite a bit of a threat later on. I know a couple of these players are also CS people, so their aim isn't too bad as well when it comes into it. 2 kills already. Not a Katsubaki.
The last couple of teams making their way into the central circle, 20 frames per second. Warwick, interestingly enough, held off on coming into the central conflict for quite a long time. Though, of course, mentioning conflict, we haven't actually seen any serious amount of deaths for a while, but we're seeing so many teams closely grouped together now that if not on this particular circle, I think they're very much primed to explode as soon as they fully get within sight of one another.
Yeah, very much so. A lot of teams getting into the circle as the blue zone comes around, so we should see a lot more action around about now. Still 22 teams left, only 17 people have died. This is not like a usual game of PUBG where everyone's dead by the first circle. I just got a message saying we got stream sniped by our own uni.
Sounds about right.
Oh, that's brilliant.
That's the service that we provide here. New central circle coming up, and of course we've got the movement starting all over the place. 20 frames per second, and Warwick, 2 of the teams who came in to the last circle last, are going to be forced out a little bit earlier, and they have, for the first time in this game, we're starting to see, for particularly UO Sun Esports A, Team 23, right in the center of the circle, very well positioned to pick off some of these teams as they try and find safety where they can.
And we're seeing a bit of conflict between Team 8, the Salford Stimmers, sorry,
Stimmers, yes.
against Team 24, the one I can't pronounce in stream. That has a very bad word in it.
Triple S, yes.
Yes, that one. Getting in a bit of conflict here. Nice scope on not Katsubaki on, I think that was the car 98. So they've got the range, they've got the weaponry. Could do with better head armor though, definitely. I don't think he's got a helmet, which will leave him vulnerable from a lot of weapons. Even level 1 helmet block quite a bit of damage. Not as much for an AR usually. I need to check damage outputs on that. So far,
we can see a few of the teams there on the left-hand side. We see that number 13, Snowburrows, has been reduced down to a single member. Yes. I'm not... We'll have to have a quick check through and see. So, let's see. I'm just trying to correspond these with the teams that are in. We're certainly starting to see a lot of movement on the map now as the teams, I think, realizing, as we've seen in this first game, I think it's definitely a feeling out period for the players as they try and figure out how each other are going to play. Team 23 definitely in the midst of fighting right now. We can see their numbers overlapping quite dramatically, though we haven't seen the kills come through as yet. It has to only be a matter of time, though.
But Team 23 and Team 6 are in conflict. One player from Team 23 is already down. John Will Riley, it looks like, having a bit of problem getting the buildings to render. PUBG, am I right? Esports ready. But we're seeing a bit of firing back as well. A player from Team 6 also knocked down Mr. Maneki. 3 players left on either side. Buildings are back in now, and John Will Ray, will be revived. Still Mr. Maneki. So back to a 4-on-4, trying to take pot shots out the window. If you can see Team 10, is that Jake Paul? Sorry, got distracted. Team 10 just cruising by, dabbing on dem haters. I don't know what these young people say, but Team 10 get knocked out. Ooh, well, double knockdown. That's what you...
much attention.
Yeah, that's what you get. That's cast a curse right there. John Will Ray will be heating up.
Yes, Team 23 were the team we pointed out before who placed themselves right in the center of the action. They've been able to take cover after getting a little bit clobbered as they move across to Team 25, the Devils rejects from much earlier on, with 3 remaining members on the very outside at the moment of the circle, which is currently closing down. I think maybe looking to try and catch some other players in similar circumstances. We're starting to rack up some of these kills, though we still got 21 teams out of 25 still in this. I think that's about to change, though, as we can see Wolverine trying to go for the kill there. Can't quite manage it. Managed to pick up some good medical equipment to keep themselves in the fight just a little bit longer.
He's got 50 seconds, though. Has to move soon. Blue zone will be moving, and it'll be fairly quick and will chunk at this point, trying to take shots at Team 2. Holding the high ground. Is this Revenge of the Sith? It's like it's like these guys are Anakin and have to push into him. It's not going to end well. They need to be really careful of how they play it. Caught on 2 sides as well. You can see the names hovering above the horizon. They know they're surrounded at this point, but they have to push forward. Or is this looking... So this is looking towards the edge of it. So they have the space to go in, but where they're going to go in will be very exposed because of the surface of the hill. And that other team, the Obi-Wans, let's call them, will have far better angle on them. And is, because of the cover, is less in line of sight to the other teams around. See if they manage to actually pull off. See, the rotation is coming through. So they're being really smart about this. Rotating around the hill, trying to get as much cover between them, so they only have to fight on one front if some of these other teams do decide to try and pop some shots at them. Was that 1 loot crate or was that 2 loot crates? That might have been a double drop. I didn't exactly see. I kept on seeing crates in the air. There's 2 crates in the air. So at this point, although an M24 or snipers get sort of kind of less efficient as you get closer in, some players are very, very quick with their aim. And if you get an ARM and your armor is ruined already from a previous engagement and you get one-tapped, you're not going to be happy. That's going to be you instantly down, and it's very good for picking off those down players as well. It's one of the great things about these sniper rifles. Zone coming in, we'll see what the next zone is like. That's going to be the linchpin in how this game will play out.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's going to, well, being dropped right on top of the potatoes. Number 10, who I think are in a little bit of trouble at the moment. And of course, one of those drops is actually still in that inner circle. We've got Team 14, Redundant Ozone, and 22. The Chicken Diblet's going to have to fight over the other, while the rest of the teams scramble to get into position with only a minute left to close the distance. 25, the Devil's Rejects clashing with 20 frames per second. They were keeping their distance before, but no longer.
22 is approaching this crate, taking a wide berth, splitting up, but 14 is also going for it as they move up, looking in the opposite direction. They may get caught out here by the Chicken Giblets as they approach over this ridge. This ridge might give them cover, but they might be exposed from 25. They do see a player up there. Don't know if he quite saw that. Tiff UK. Now he's just firing pot shots at nothing. Right, so he didn't see him, I don't think, but he is getting fired from behind as the Giblets are closing in and trying to do some damage. But it looks like one might be knocked already. I think that looks like Sir Jib is down.
We are into the scoring area now with 14 teams left. The top 16 teams get themselves points carrying forward. But we're really looking, the top 8 are the ones where the major points start coming in, particularly the top 4 as well. But of course, kills are going to start racking up. And I think we have got a few of the teams who've managed to accrue a few kills of their own.
And that looks really disastrous for the Salford side. 3 of the players from 22 going down quite easily. I think 1 player is remaining. I'm not entirely sure, but he's right on the edge of the zone. So if he is, it's going to be really difficult for him to get in. I think that's Team 22 out. Tiff UK from Team 14 going down right in the blue zone. That's chunk bad at this point. Really positioning the blue zone, as we were saying, can really... trying to do an X Games. Lubricated eel. Not so slippery there.
Eel's bad, man.
Yeah, Eel's bad. Definitely.
Man, that just wiped out a massive amount of teams.
6 teams remaining. That was very quick. We went from 14 to 6 in a matter of about 30 seconds there. And if we can see who's remaining. So we've got Team 25, which is Devil's Rejects, remaining. Looking strong, 3 players. Team 1, Warwick Esport, 2 players remaining. Team 10, Jake Pauls of the world, 2 players remaining. 17, all 4. So they stand a really good chance. Time Stream as well. I think that's a kill. I recognize the name Time Stream. I think I've casted him before in CS. And Team 14, Tomato Wato, and Helpful Virus, I think that is. Okay. Team 14 is Redundant Ozone Dribblers. Beautiful name.
Team 17 are closing in, having been able to reap most of the rewards from that last crate. I've got a nice position to come in. They're on the opposite side, as mentioned before. ROD going to try and close the distance onto the Devil's Rejects, who've spotted Team 17 coming in exchange of gunfire, which is going to see 17 caught just on the edge. But as we mentioned, Team 17, the only team with all 4 surviving members right now, even without the benefit of cover, surely have to be a favorite.
Definitely so. Really tense now that we get into the final 5 teams. Seeing a position held, AK in hand, 4x scope, it looks like, well, for its big CC. But that'll be another team taken out by Bainesy, killing Team 14, the Redundant Ozone Dribblers. Dribble no more. They have been eliminated, and it is just 11 players remaining. 2 people are downed already. Omni Toaster for Team 17, which is Neil's fan club. And Team 10, Kirk Mania, is also down. That's Team 17 going down to 3 players. So now it's a 3v3v2v2? Did I get that right? Or is it 3v3v3v1? I can't tell.
There's a lot of numbers in there, but
There's
those
a lot of
numbers, they'll fortunately be getting it a lot shorter in a hurry. Team 25 again being able to punish 17 on the approach. 17 are headed straight towards that crate, but 25 are actually splitting their attention across against team number 1, Warwick, the masters of marketing. 17 actually getting tagged there. I think they lost a member. So 25 in a pretty good position here. They're the only team currently inside the circle.
They've also got the most players remaining as well. That's important to consider. And they've got fantastic positioning because of the blue zone in this house as well. Team 17, Time Stream is down, Screaming Radish is down. It's just Poch left on his lonesome. Should be fairly difficult for Team 17 to pull something out of the bag now, especially as they have to get into zone. Blue zone appearing.
That's going to cream through Warwick very quickly. They've, I think, just managing to get in with very low health on one of their members. Team 17 are going to be making the rush in on 25, who've managed to hold their ground extremely well so far. But the new circle is away from the building, is going to strip away some of that defensive advantage that 25 have enjoyed up until this point, and there's only going to be 42 seconds for them to get it right.
Painkiller has been taken by Wolverine and the energy drink as well, so he will be fully boosted 3v2v1 as one of the players 14-1 for the Warwick, the twitch.tv/Warwick esports side will be down to just one member, as one looks like he has fallen, or if not, he is on very low health.
10 seconds left before
He's been
the circle closes.
And
Warwick
is healed.
are going to be the first ones to get a member in, with Wolverine sneaking around as well. Looks like 25 are about ready to make the move, with 17 going to be the ones to follow up. But the circle now closing. Time is running out. Chazmaster makes it in 25, and 17, particularly 17, may have left it a little bit too late.
And it looks like we're going to see Team 25 versus Team 1, the Warwick esports team versus Devil Rejects. Oh, nice shot by Wolverine, taking down one player. But it looks like he's on his own now, and he has to deal with, is that Team 17 left? So Warwick has been taken down.
Oh,
and it was Wolverine taken out, so will be Team 25 winning that round. Finishing first. Yep, yeah, that is... Did they only have 3 players, or did one of their players leave?
I think...
No.
I'm not sure.
So that's Devil's Rejects coming first.
Yes, they also got a decent amount of kills in them as well. So that's going to be an extra 120 points on top of the 400 they got for coming in first. 300 for on number 2 side. Let's see. So that's going to be Neil's fan club, who get themselves 300 points. We will, of course, be working out the exact numbers between games, but we've got 4 more to go. Congratulations once more for a really well-played game number 1, and we'll see how things develop as we go. All right, guys, please stay tuned. We'll be back with more PlayerUnknown's Battleground coming to you soon.
Come and fly away with me. 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 Don't you be afraid, everything will change. You and I jumping off the edge. These the dreamers never die. So come and fly, come and fly, come and fly away with me. We're rising, we're falling, we're making through. We're climbing, we're soaring. edge of space, calling us to fly away.
Walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and
Summer in the hills, those hazy days I do remember. We were running still, had the whole world at our feet, watching seasons change. Our roads were lined with adventure, mountains in the way couldn't keep us from the sea. Here we stand, open arms. This is home where we are, ever strong in the world that we made. I still hear you in the breeze, see your shadows in the trees, holding on. Memories never change.
I don't know what you want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall, my love.
All right, guys, welcome back to our second round of PUBG for the evening. Novi, we now know our top 4 teams confirmed. Devil's Rejects coming in first place and we're getting those 400 points themselves. Also got 12 kills. Neil's fan club were the second place with 10 kills for themselves. So we've already got some pretty dominant teams already. The rest of the table going to have to work pretty hard in game 2 to catch up.
Definitely. So Warwick Esports with their long drop up to the north side of the map, definitely finishing strong with such a not terrible position with the zones, but had to move across cover a lot of ground to get back into the game. Definitely putting a strong, finishing in third with 6 kills as well. So they're on about 300 points at the moment, which settles them up quite nicely if they have another top finish. They could take the lead, definitely. And UOB Potatoes bring up the rear in 4th place, earning themselves 200 points, but only with 1 kill. Very interesting. We saw a lot of teams die very quickly. So as these results getting filled out, we'll see a lot of teams with very few kills, actually, from just dying from the blue zone, I think.
We're going to have a lot of early drops coming out as the plane is coming over from the east side, splitting across to, looks like towards top and bottom, as which we get stuck in for our second on stream game. All right, Novi, do you think we're going to see the same teams dominate again?
I think my prediction is Warwick. I'd be very surprised if Warwick doesn't finish top 10. They look very confident, came in definitely with a plan. So I expect to see them again. I'll be honest, I didn't know much about Devil's Rejects, but they seem to play it very tactically. So I reckon the people who finished top actually look really strong contenders. Kind of the outsider ones I was kind of surprised by was the redundant ozone dribblers. Surprised me quite a bit, but finished strong. Very exciting, but we're finally seeing a bit of people dropping near each other for once. going around school and in that area. So bit of a different start to the last.
Yes, a lot of the time people were able to avoid each other for an enormous amount of time, but we've already had 5 deaths coming in, and we've already actually had one of the teams wiped out entirely. As we can see, number 10, the Potatoes, taking shelter themselves, already running into a little bit more trouble than they can handle, but you can see that actually we've had some teams breaking away from the pack as well.
That zone, that is horrific. That's horrendous. That is the worst thing that could have possibly happened to about 80% of the teams in this game. So that immediately 80% of the teams are off to an awful start with that zone placement, and because of the plane path. Yeah, that's going to be terrible to deal with. First thing they want to find is some kind of vehicle to cover that ground, because it is going to be very hard to cover that ground by running in the running simulator that is PUBG.
Absolutely. Let's have a look through how let's see. So, Devil's Rejects playing under Team 25 again. Let's have a look around. So, the teams which seem to be in the most peril are 1v3 C9, currently as far away as is humanly possible, along with, I believe that's Squad 21, the Newcastle Cavaliers. Squad 2, 20 frames per second, I think, have taken it to the water on the top of the map, going for the long way round. Very smart from them to try and go for that relatively low-risk mode of transport.
Yeah, that's definitely correct going into this match. We're observing the Jake Paul team, Team 10, Turkmania, finishing fairly strong, actually, last game. Check the scoreboard and see if their points have gone in, and we'll see where their position, where they finished. What is Team 10's actual name? That would help me if I actually looked up.
UOB
Potatoes.
Oh yes,
So, yeah,
they came in fourth.
So they had a really strong showing. So I want to see if Jake Paul can pull in the W for his team, or if he'll take the L. We'll have to see. Swinging around south, sort of southerly direction. Currently east of school, but swinging down in a southerly direction to try and avoid it. They know that someone's dropped there, so see if there's any more conflict. No one else has died, so bit tame, as tame as it was first game, I'd say.
Well, Shu Squade, I'm not even sure how to say that name, I think are going to run into a little bit of trouble roughly center in the map. Giorgio Pole, south side, seeing a couple of teams kind of swarming around each other. I think they've got enough room for the time being to avoid coming into direct conflict. But interesting to see that we have got a few teams already establishing themselves pretty much where they'll need to be for the majority of the rest of the game. Team 14 and Team 10 very close to each other near the outside. But we still got a fair few players who are a long way away from where they need to be.
Yeah, that is for sure. We're seeing teams trying to make their way around. Again, these teams are taking that extended route round, going up to the north and then west over to the zone. You saw that at the top of the map right there, a lot of dots flying around. Be very interested to see if they can pull that tactic off a second time in a row. It caused a lot of the teams who had better positioning to kind of get caught out, because they had teams approaching from angles you wouldn't quite expect in relation to where the zone was. That happened to Team 22. They got surrounded by 3 different teams. That's the Giblets, I think. Chicken Giblets, I think their name is. But we see Kirkmania looking out into school. AR-15 and AR in hand.
He doesn't need no education.
Yeah, that is for sure.
Let's see. So teams, I think we've got a lot of the teams who have been kind of caught along their way in transit now. Team 14, Redundant Ozone, and Team 10, the Potatoes, our 4th place team from before, taking it up just outside the primary circle. But we're going to, I think, start seeing a lot more teams coming in. The Salford Stimmers actually are currently clashing with UO Sun Esports A over on a Yaznav. Yeah, if I can even see the name underneath all those
unrendered textures.
Yes, So we'll try not to jump around the map too much because PUBG does not like it. But I think we might start to see some more casualties come in. Despite the early clashes which we're expecting, though, for a while we haven't seen any more deaths.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Something super interesting I want to focus on is at the top of the zone, Team 22 split off. You had the Bread and Sir Jib on their own, but Overpowered and Mr. Buttcheeks driving straight into Team 25. Definitely going to be some conflict over there at the moment. We'll see if anyone gets knocked or if they can make it out alive. If they were in a car, they do have kind of an advantage. 2 players have been knocked, and Harvey has killed Aplox as well, so that will be the 6th casualty of the game.
Yes, we've been waiting for the real damage to start coming in, and there we go. Going from 95 to 92 in short order. Some very aggressive play from the Chicken Giblets, wasting no time at all. Well, particularly surprising is that Team 22 splitting themselves across with a couple of members going after the Devil's Rejects, our #1 team from last time. I don't know if Team 22 knew this when they decided to start a fight, but I don't know if it's going to end well for them.
Yeah, that's certainly true. Also having a look around at some of the other teams, you can see the pressure is on as they're making their way over. That yellow team up there, all in cars, so I can't actually see what team name they are, with Adanoom +1.
Yes,
making their way over.
That's an interesting design choice there. We'll figure that one out as we go. Once they get out of the cars, we can figure it out at least.
Well done, Blue Hole. But also the it's Dylan and the Nuggets, Chicken Dylan and the Nuggets, or Snowbarrow's squad. Far over to the east, near 23, might be clashing with the other Sulphur team, but the other Sulphur team's backed off, which is probably the right decision. Zone's coming in. Don't need to get bogged down trying to kill a squad if you're that far away.
Oh, for sure. It feels like it's the zone is actually closing in pretty quickly. Definitely, UO Sun Esports, Team 23, and the other teams outside need to get moving. Of course, the damage is going to be the least from being outside right now, but we're already starting to see some of those icons on the map turning into the ones to indicate that they have mounted up, knowing that their time out roaming free is coming to an end.
And Sombrero bloke driving straight through the middle of the town. Dacia will be picked up, trying to... So they're going in the opposite direction. Probably a smart choice as well. Vehicles, especially with the blue zone, you don't want to get bogged down getting caught out and exploded. Also, you don't want to get caught out in the blue zone. Shouldn't ship too much damage, but still it's a bit uncomfortable. We're seeing all these teams suddenly move over. It's like a swarm. So the teams who are already in the zone now have to defend their positions from this oncoming traffic. That's going to be their main objective.
Yeah, it's going to get pretty dicey in a hurry. Now we're down to 90 remaining. We've still only lost a single team so far. We've got this huge mass of players moving in quickly. Some of those are actually getting caught out. Team 11, 1v3 C9, taking a little bit of time to come in late. We knew it worked out pretty well for Warwick last time to be, nearly the last people in. They made it to 3rd place, and that's a good amount of points. I don't know, for the Rejects, our number 25 team, to be right in the center of the action from the early going feels like a pretty high-risk proposition.
Yeah, for sure. As we see, not many people around the coast, not much loot along that edge, but it is a very defensive position. But again, we don't know where the second zone will go. John Ulray trying to, with his teammate, wrestle this car into the zone. Will just about... Has he made it, or has he still got far to go? I can't... Oh, he's got miles to go. Never mind.
Well, we've got the news circle coming in as well, which means that we're going to be moving the action away from Georgiopol towards Gatka and the mountain ranges. So all of the teams who have so far been able to ensconce themselves happily in these buildings are not only about to receive a whole bunch of visits from the teams who've been further out on the map, but will have to sooner or later move themselves away and expose themselves to some retribution.
We're seeing a little conflict around this northern part of Georgiopol. Team 22 the giblets, trying to take down, I think that was Team 23, who are positioned up. No, sorry, Team 25. Sorry, the previous winners of the last round. Looking like quite a heavy conflict zone. But we've also got teams pushing in from the north who have to cross through them because of the bridges. So they could be caught in a fairly similar position where they go out fairly early because they get like amassed by so many people.
Yes, I don't know. I have a feeling that Devil's Rejects are going to run into a lot of trouble here. They're going to potentially be facing off against up to 10 different enemies closing in. And I think we're actually seeing some kills coming through as well. Team 25 do have all of their members up and running for the moment, but they are being surrounded by multiple chicken giblets with Bitly off to the side, waiting to pick up the pieces.
Seeing the rotation around, grouping up, this is a very smart decision so they don't get caught out again. They've got enough cover that they can afford to take separate positions. But if they need to rotate to pick someone up, they don't want it to be too far away. So that's a clever idea from Team 22, but they still need to cross that bridge. 25 know they are there. They are waiting. We've also got Team 17 just on the horizon, and then just behind that, the yellow team, who is Team 20. Oh, there we go. Finally found out who they are. It only took like 15 minutes, but we got there in the end. Team 24 is, let's have a look at my little sheet here.
Oh, Bitly. Yes, the Bitly team are actually moving. Yes, they're currently moving in. Team 25, I believe, have dropped a member and are looking a little bit dicey here as they are getting attacked from multiple angles. The rest of the teams kind of ignoring that Georgia Pole conflict and moving in towards that central place themselves. We've got the circle now closing in, which is really going to force out this play. So you can see Sir Jib on the chicken giblets. If the fighting is going to result in kills, it's going to happen right now. But instead, in fact, it looks like the team's making a break across the bridge, trying to get towards that center circle before they get taken out by that damage over time.
Yeah, not an easy angle to approach from either the Chicken Dylan squad as well, moving in on the boat in the river, but they're going to go on to land eventually. Seeing a bit of conflict from the cars, but everyone's just trying to make their way through. There was a loot box there. Don't know if it got picked up. Didn't see any teams near it, but they might stop off on their way through if they deem it worth. But they are chunking a fair bit of damage. They should be fine, but if they meet another team, it could go very disastrously wrong. Look at that driving. That is phenomenal driving.
The number 7 team, Can't Muffin. I didn't quite catch who it was they killed, but I think did just wipe out one of the opposing team members. Going to shortly be clashing with the DMU wheelchairs, closing in from the side. Let's see, where did number 17 team get to? I think they might be all in transit, so I can't spot the numbers.
They're directly close, and it looks like Team 22 is going to be following right behind. We might see a huge conflict between up to 3 or 4 teams right now. See if they come in UMP through the door for the Basilisk. Bit of a Harry Potter reference going on there.
Team Carrie Barry under pressure from Bitly. I don't think any other teams are going to come and intervene. We've also got play going on currently between the UOB Potatoes and the Lancaster Bombers. As we've got another circle coming in, time is starting to run out. The constricting battlefield already starting to catch up a few of these teams already. The Snowbros team, amongst others, struggling to keep up with the moving action. We've got a minute and a half before it closes in and really starts crunching these guys into the crucible.
We're seeing a lot of movement away from this edge, which, if it was a coastal finish, would be fairly open. Bottle of cover for whoever team gets there first. But instead, we're going a bit more inland. The original G and J normal child, not Wonder Child. Bill Murray, not a fanatic player, making his way into the center of the map or the zone. A lot of teams spread out, taking their time to actually make their way into the center. I personally like to get there as fast as possible so you can get up a position and post up. But often, if you leave it later. You can take teams off by surprise, or you don't have to fight then oncoming traffic. You basically walk in with the blue zone and use it as a walking wall where you can always guarantee that no one will be behind you. See if that comes into play here. The blue zone does too much damage at this point, really, for a team to sit in there and chunk it out to sort of surprise teams, I'd say. Compensator picked up for FRRXX. Fricks. And they've also got Iron. Fricks and Iron. That's keeping it simple.
All right, the blue zone starting to close in, I believe. Not quite yet, but shortly. We've got the teams already. We've actually already got some conflict right in the center of the zone, just north of the quarry. The team number 2, 20 frames per second, did get wiped out by Team 12. NA can't play PUBG. They're about to run into the Bath Boys, though. It's getting pretty bloody pretty quickly. In the first game, I think we had a lot of feeling out between the teams. Now, apparently, they're satisfied. They just want to get stuck in and pick up some of those kill points. 10 points per kill, but an extremely higher risk proposition than just driving around everybody else.
Very much so. FRXX Fricks going for his best Kobe impression. Chucking that grenade. No kills picked up of it. 62 left. 61 left, sorry. 60 left. There we go. Dropping like flies. So 40 people have been killed. 19 teams remain. So 6 teams have been eliminated, of course. And we got 5 more teams to be eliminated before they're in the money. And that's where it will start to get interesting. Last round, we saw that huge decimation as we went into, I think it was the 3rd blue zone. Where we saw 8 teams just go out immediately. We'll see if a similar thing happens here.
The Devils Rejects, our number 1 team from last time around, have managed to make it, I think, just about into the zone. Though they haven't got any transport, so it's a little bit dicey there. Snowbro's going to be the last team to enter. And of course, we've only got a minute and a half before things get really nasty in a hurry. We've already got pretty heavy fighting between Can't Muffin, our team number 7, and the DMU Wheelchairs, who are actually getting flanked by 1v3C9. I think, yes, we're getting into the real brawling part of the game, with still teams yet to join the main fight, and there's actually some decent fighting going on the outside of the circle as well.
Definitely so. Team 8 is caught in a firefight. Just Vanquish left alive, not going to revive his teammates because of how far out they are. And they're on very low health. He might make the move up because the blue zone is about to move. But if he gets picked off, he's rushing over. So he should be able to pick up his players here because it's team 17, I can't really see. Did have the anger on them and did down them. So they will be back up, pick up their teammates. 3 remaining for that squad. Not Katsubaki has been eliminated, but Blue Zone is about to be moving 20 seconds in, and if they don't have medicine, that's going to hurt a lot if they get caught.
Oh, for sure. It's going to really force a little more play, I think, particularly with the Devil's Rejects hanging around the outside of the blue. I think holding a lot of these teams in place as they tried to fight each other and didn't really want to take risks. That is going to become ever more risky as we're now having it closing in. I think we might be seeing a repeat of Game 1. These guys playing out so cautiously on the outside, they can end up being punished here. The Salford Stimmers already going to be taking damage as they try desperately to get in, but it's a big distance to get towards the center. And of course, multiple teams already ready and waiting to receive them.
Very true. So pick out again, and Vanquish is left alive, trying to keep his team still in play. Gets back into this blue zone immediately, only has 30 seconds left to move into the next zone. 17 teams alive, 49 left. Sorry, you go ahead.
Well, I was just something that really jumped out at me there. It's the Devil's Rejects. I don't think are actually going to manage to make it into the center. I'm not certain as to how much damage they're taking, because they look like they're actually coming and trying to pick off kills rather than jumping right into the middle. Certainly going to give them a few more points, but it feels like a risky proposition, particularly at this point in the game. Our number 2 team from last time around, NUEL's fan club, have been safely in the center for a long time here, picking up a lot of the teams as they've been coming in. And I think, yes, I'm going to have a quick look across at 25 because, yeah, I don't. Oh, of course, they're using bandages, but no, they're not going to make it in time. Team 25 have been wiped out. They will not be taking the first place 2 games in a row.
Very true. And 11 teams remaining. We are in the money. We are in the points. This is where it gets exciting. The build-up is worth it, I promise. Loot Crate in the center of the zone, but no teams near it. If they become an Orm or something spicy like an M24, it could be the difference between losing or winning the game. The AUG and the Grozer, of course, I think the Grozer is like a laser beam. That gun, Struth, you can 1v5 with that gun. So powerful, but the AUG as well, especially good, favored by a lot of players as well. Seeing a lot of contests and teams grouping up as well at this point. They want to stick together. They want to take these firefights as teams, not as individuals.
The only team that can't muffin are able to take control of the very few buildings actually left applicable in the game. We've only got a couple of seconds before the circle starts to close, and we've got a lot of teams, including Warwick, with only 1 surviving member on the outside, going to be taking a huge amount of damage in a hurry at this point. We've got the Potatoes, who I think are going to take out the last remaining Warwick member, but they may find themselves victims of the circle if they don't get in there quick.
That is definitely true. Blue Zone creeping in at this point. See what the next zone is like, because again, even at this late into the game, it can be the difference between winning and losing. It's purely the RNG of the actual zone, and also how you play around. We've seen a lot of teams, especially pro play, who have amazing tactics, who can pull the wins out when they need it. If they have inferior terrain. What have you spotted?
Well, number 7 team, Can't Muffin, just been able to wipe out one of the teams as they attempted to close in on the buildings. We've only got a minute left before those buildings become uninhabitable. But 24 Bitly will be the next team to try and take on Can't Muffin's entrenched players. We've got Team 17, NUEL's fan club, number 2, have managed to steer clear of too much trouble so far. But right in the center, you've mentioned the drop, which has yet to be picked up by anybody so far. We've got Team 10 and Team 12. The Potatoes and NA currently trying to keep their distance and maybe just trying to wait out and pick up some of those tasty position points later on.
That is very, very true. Points are in it right now. 6 teams remaining. So we've got the Jake Pauls, Team 10. We've got 07 Frax. Sorry, shout out to the guy who corrected me in the chat with my pronunciation. 24 as well, the team we couldn't see for ages. Finally through to Team 12 as well. And what do we see with other teams? Ooh, bit of conflict, but Raffro takes him down.
We've got action on both the east and west. Number 7 come off and have broken away and are trying to get towards the center. They're trying to punish Team 24 Bitly, and I think they're going to manage it. Noom, the last one standing. Team 7 tearing up Bitly. I think they'll be able to get to the distance close. And I think we're very swiftly going to be coming down to just Can't Muffin and Team 10. Noom, the last remaining member of Bitly, will manage to pick up a kill for themselves, but we'll have to deal with multiple punishings coming in. But yeah, sorry, we have got the 4 last teams remaining. 1 minute to get inside that central circle.
And this is incredibly exciting because we've got 4 teams. One of those teams is just 1 player remaining for the Bitly squad. The rest all have 2 each. So it is basically like a duos game at this point. But beautiful shot by Kirkmania from Jake Paul's squad. And he might be able to take out the second. He peeks. Ooh, lovely headshot. And that will be a team eliminated. Team 10, Team 7, and Team 24 remaining.
Yeah, Potatoes were a number 4 finish from last time round, but they did pick up very few kills while getting that position. Changing that this time, as Noom going to be chased away by Mackie Jam. Frooks, though I should have been paying a bit more attention when you said what the correct pronunciation of the name. Frax. That's definitely not Frax. There's no way that reads as Frax. Oh, whatever. We've only got a few seconds before the restriction of the circle. None of the teams in there at the moment, but it's Team 10, the UOB Potatoes, who I think are in the best position to get in there. Kirkmania, we saw with some excellent shooting skills before. Team 7 trying to get in, but Aiden Noom actually managed to pick off one member. So Team 10, the Potatoes, are the most favored. 2 versus 1 versus 1. Frack's going to get caught in the fight by Kirkmania, who is going crazy in this game. I'm not really sure how many kills they've gotten so far, but it's been a lot. That's kills.
That is that Team 7 down. You see a lot in pro play that actually if a member goes down, they just leave them for dead. But that's the headshot, and Kirkmania finishes off getting so many kills, 8 kills that round for his team. So that was Team 10, the team pool. UOB Potatoes, who finished 4th last time, now get to finish 1st. As I was saying, it's consistency which will really favor this tournament.
Yeah, I think Kirkmania, looking through the results of the various teams playing, Kirkmania by a pretty considerable margin has the most kills in that last game, with Cup of Tea, their teammate, 6 kills. I mean, kind of as you would expect for the teams making it right towards the end, they get the most opportunity to pick up kills themselves, but still really nicely played from the Potatoes. Of course, we've still got 3 more games to see if they can keep up consistency, but 4th to 1st is very impressive stuff nonetheless.
That is very, very, very accurate, as we hope to see the results very soon, so we can add up where the teams stand. That'll be the most interesting point. Warwick, especially, we said they're a team to look out for, seemed kind of invisible for that game, don't you think?
Well, I think it was because that I'm just looking through the scoreboard to find out exactly where they ended up. Because from what I could tell, while they did have a team member who was able to hold on for quite a while, they got knocked down to just a single team member towards the end. I think they picked up some amount of points there just by keeping someone alive for a good amount of time. Yes, they ended up number 11 from number 3. So not ideal, but still getting a couple of points themselves. We'll see. We're going to do some data processing before we have the full picture. But of course, once we do come back with Game 3, we'll keep you guys up to date as to how this tournament is developing. A huge amount to consider, but we'll be back with that Game 3 as soon as it's ready.
Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love, you say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose.
the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you. Eyes in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you. Eyes in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you. I can't find my way back to you until you make amends with the demons you've been through. And I can't regret leaving you alone until you find your way back home. Until you find your way back home. drown. Don't let me drown. Until you find your way back home. I can't regret leaving you alone until you find your way back home.
Give me reasons to doubt, try to keep me down, but I'll put the flame out, you can't get to me. Throw your sticks and your stones, go break all of my bones. You won't ache my soul, you can't get to me. And there is no barricade that I can tear away. Shoot me down, go fire away, away. But I'm a heavyweight. I'm a heavyweight. I'm a heavyweight. I'm a heavyweight. But I'm a heavyweight. I'm a heavyweight. I'm a heavyweight. I'm a heavyweight. Push me down to the ground. What goes around comes around. You won't put the flame out, you can't get to me. Say what you wanna say, go take it all away. But I'm here to stay, no, you can't get to me. And there is no barricade that I can tear away. Shoot me down, go fire away, away. But I'm a heavyweight. I'm a heavyweight. I'm a heavyweight. I'm a heavyweight.
smile. Now the sunshine brings the light. Fill me out with a flame. I will let you in this game. Take me out when I'm down. 'Cause with you I'm safe and sound. 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 Take me out when I'm down. 'Cause with you I'm safe and sound. 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 I'm safe and I got trapped in your eyes the moment you looked at me. From across the room, those eyes kept following me. Something popped in my brain. Oh, baby, only you I see. Feels like I'm going insane, and only you can save me. Feels like I'm drowning in ocean's blue. Baby, come on, baby, baby, come on, let's go. I'm losing control of the lights in this place. Keep jumping around, all I see is your face. Now you're moving closer, no time to escape. Your hand on my shoulder shoots me into space, and I can't deny how badly I need you now. 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 You take away my breath now, boy. Don't you dare steal my heart now, boy. I know you're something that I'll enjoy. Move a little bit closer now, to some place where there ain't no crowds. I wanna get to know you right here and now. I got trapped in your touch the moment you took my hand. Led me all the way to the ocean sand. You told me don't worry,
Alright guys, as you may have picked up, we're having a little bit of a problem on our end, technical wise, bringing you game through. So what we're going to do is take a small break and come back with everything working perfectly fine for our game number 4 of the evening. We will be updating the placements on the NUEL website if you want to keep track of things as they develop. But sorry about this, guys. We'll be back as soon as everything is sorted out to bring you game 4 and 5 of PUBG this evening. But for now, we will BRB.